Every once in a long while, we get inspired and excited. That's what I felt when I saw the nimble and frankly beautiful ADDIESDIVE AD2038. The sophisticated curved lugs, a mix of brushed and polished surfaces, the self-winding automatic powering this watch was an afterthought. The watch was sold on me. The automatic engine was a bonus I didn't expect at the price point of $50 for these stellar looks. So when I actually saw this watch, I thought, well, what is the inspiration? There has to be one. And I had a couple of connotations in my mind. But the biggest takeaway was that it is a homage of the Seiko Tic Tac limited edition. Do you remember that watch? It came out in about 2019, and that was a really inexpensive automatic for about 500 bucks. I'm sure you can still get it on eBay. Now, that watch there basically took its cues from two watches, the Seiko Alpinist as well as the vintage Tudors and Rolexes. Well, what we have here is an ADDIESDIVE that homages the Tic Tac, but actually betters it in some instances. Well, the price was bettered down to 50 bucks, not 500, so 10 times cheaper. Yeah, it's an automatic, but it's not a Seiko. This is just a Seiko automatic movement in here, the NH35 powering on this beast. The looks are really good. Now, the Tic Tac had a bit of a protruding right angle, so where the crown was sitting. This watch is much more traditionally styled, where the case is very much symmetrical, and I do like it. I like the dimensions of 38.5 millimeters. I do believe ADDIESDIVE created a masterpiece, paying tribute to the Tic Tac but also making a more impressive look with the tall boxed crystal. Blue anti-reflective treatment giving us the attractive bluish reflections, and the Jubilee style bracelet with the milled clasp, and that is another premium quirk on this very budget $50 piece. So as we discussed, the watch is just 50 bucks, and the link to the listing is in the description below the video, so do check it out if you're after a sharp price. And now let's get in and talk about this ADDIESDIVE in a lot of detail. Let's do it. Let's kick off with the dimensions. We get a diameter of 38.5 millimeters, a height of 12.9 millimeters, mostly due to the very tall boxed crystal. We get a lug-to-lug length of 45 millimeters and a lug width of 20, tapering down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. The weight on this watch is 125 grams. The sizing is truly unisex on this piece. The modest lug-to-lug length and the inverted end links cater to wrists 5.5 inches and over. This could also be a perfect watch for new entrants to the horology hobby, so even teenagers. On my 6.5-inch wrist, the watch looks right at home. The wide stance of the lugs is assertive and contemporary, especially considering the sub 40mm diameter. Looking at the profile of this watch, we are practically witnessing a throwback to vintage Rolex styling. The plump and convex rounding, almost cushion-like. The polished finish is not glossy yet consistent, and reflections rich. Also note the drop-off of the lug tips, pointing down, further reducing any potential to lug overhang. Follow the transition to the finely brushed lug hoods. These literally fall off the case. The fixed bezel supporting the dome mineral crystal is polished, and yes, I did say mineral crystal, it is not sapphire on here, but considering their overall looks, the premium components, I can forgive it, and of course the price point. The tall box crystal sits proudly high on top of this bezel. It's a single dome, meaning edge distortion allows for the beige indices and the white mini-track to be stretched and skewed for undeniable retro-inspired appeal. If we look to the right of the watch case, we note the 5.4mm screw-down crown. Not large, but in line with the minimalist styling of the watch overall. The tip is sandblasted and inscribed with the brand logo. Flip the watch over to the screw-down case back. Quite the value-packed piece, isn't it? So we do get some specs on the perimeter as well as the logo straight bang in the center. If we talk about the bracelet now, interestingly enough, the end links of this bracelet seamlessly integrate with the head of the watch. The brushed finish is spot on identical to the lug hoods. The bracelet tolerances are questionable. There is a stretch at the outset, all due to the gaps between rows of the 5-link design. On the other hand, link fluidity and link articulation are very good indeed, ensuring it will drape your wrist comfortably. The double pusher clasp is signed with 5 micro adjustments. Open it up to see the milled wing. Unfortunately, it's not helped by screw pins, just the push pins. And now let's turn to the main stage of this watch, and that is the matte black dial sitting just below the boxed mineral crystal. The white chapter ring encircled the dial, with beige indices dissecting the minute track at hour intervals. There is a neat cutout for the date window at 3 o'clock. The sizing is just right. It's not too small and not out of place or too large for the compact setup. The cathedral-style hands are another throwback to the Tic Tac, also in beige hue, following the color of the indices. Yet the integral printed element of the dial is the cursive font of the brand name just south of 12 o'clock. The connotation is clear. It's vintage, it's an elegant piece, and it's quite an exquisitely styled piece. The lume test showed ADDIESDIVE luminosity at its best. The printed elements are lumed for uncompromised brightness and longevity, and really, this is really good luminosity for printed elements. But as we know with ADDIESDIVE, it never skimps on good lume. With regards to the movement, well, we get the NH35 here, and that means this is a Japanese self-winding automatic movement. It features 24 joules, 21,600 beats per hour, or a very smooth and sweeping seconds hand with 6 pulses per second. We also get 42-hour power reserve with this movement. So here it is. This is the AD2038 in detail. So $50 for this piece, and the link to the listing is in the description below the video, so do check it out if you're after a sharp price. I think this is a remarkably striking watch for the price, that is. The bracelet, yeah, could be better, agreed, yet the dial, the design, the overall aesthetics of this piece, pretty much remarkable. Anyways, $50, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.